Spud. It's the great conjunction. It's the big one. I was actually there was a point where I got really, not a point, most of the day I started getting really apprehensive, and then at one stage I was getting really nervous and really anxious. I was going, why? What's going on? It was almost like, you know, if you're waiting on a phone call for like some like bad news, or that, you know, oh no, the exam is on tomorrow. You know, when you have to do something. I was going, yeah, I'm just doing a podcast though. Or are we? What is the plan? I suppose we should let people in on what we're actually going to do.
Yeah, we could, or we could just it's a surprise, I suppose.
Well, we should preempt it in some way.
No, you know what? It comes from last year, doesn't it? Because someone left the comment on. Yeah, we're like a year doing this now, so.
Yeah.
But it's not 52 episodes, but it's a year, because I've missed a few from holidays and stuff like that, and we've both missed a couple. Anyway,
yeah.
Someone left a comment saying that it was highlighting the one from the equinox last year. Solstice. What is this?
Yeah.
Equinox.
Solstice.
Yeah. Show you how much I know. And because I had wanted to ask you stuff about it last year, but like obviously, that through some weird massive fucking synchronization thing that I didn't even know was a thing when we were doing the podcast back then, Carl Jung stepped in and decided we weren't going to talk about it, even though I did mention it, and that the conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. I just wanted to say Uranus. Because it's so shiny and beautiful. And so this conjunction thing is happening, and I don't know, me and Aga have been at each other's throats all week, and so have the kids, and I think a lot of people have. I think it's just that, I think around the 21st of December, just kind of shit comes to a head for a lot of people, because there's the stress of Christmas and the kids are going to be off school and in school, and then like fucking like shit's kicking off in England with the fucking like look lads, you want to close borders, you know, what are you complaining about?
Careful what you wish for.
You know, the amount of shouting Friday is you can just bathe in the boiled piss that's on fucking social media at the minute. Not that I'm doing that, of course. Not really. And like, we have to do something to celebrate it, don't we? So
so what we decided to do was that, being it was the big conjunction and biggest thing, that we do some kind of evoking and some actual magic to mark the occasion. So we've a kind of a rough layout of what we're going to do. The first thing we've both done a Star Ruby to banish the space. Feel free to do one yourself at home if you so want to. And then we're going to do an invocation. And what we're starting with is an invocation of Tempeh, but in the guise of Aion. So Tempeh is the spirit, or the member of the White Brotherhood who came to Alan Chapman and Duncan Barford during the Baptist Head days. And there's a sigil, which I have here. And they did some prophecy type stuff. And then years later, when the Magia stuff came out, Tempeh comes in the form of Aion. So Tempeh means time, and of course Aion is boundless, or unbounded time, or outside of time. So there's still a kind of a connection. So that he's just going to be, he has no gender. They are just going to be kind of the general invocation, and we'll kind of check in. Has he anything that he would like to tell us? And then kind of a general, what's ahead of us? Is there something that, in general we need to know?
I made one here. Well, I didn't make it. Obviously, the synchronization gods. Because I bought a little whittling set. You know whittling, don't you? Whittling, you get the knife and the thing. So I will see, look at them. Look at him. Right. How cool is he? Cool.
This is fantastic. Fantastic.
So this is going to be my Tempeh when I'm talking to him. Because obviously I'm going to turn off the screen. I'm not going to be. Well, no one can see me anyway. It's a podcast. You can see me, so I don't know. It'll be exciting because, like, I mean, I've been kind of lucky with these things, but in that, well, lucky and how to explain it? I've had loads of visions, and I've told the listeners and you. I've told you all of them, definitely. The listeners have heard of most of them, if not all of them. And maybe there's a couple that I didn't mention, but like. They usually don't come when I sit down to do them. It's usually when I'm going into or out of sleep. Like, there's been ones where I've felt myself just being ripped up out of the bed and just been like, I need to tell you something. Oh, okay. And then there's others and things like that. Usually it hasn't been true. But sure, we'll see how I get on. Like, it'll be...
Exactly.
It's worth...
So after that,
trying.
well, we're going to do our very best impression of John D and Edward Kelly, with me being the John D and you being the Edward Scoundrel Kelly. No wife swapping, of course, because this is a Zoom meeting. And what we're going to do is scry the Aethers, or Aethers, if you're from County Loud in Ireland. So recently, as part of the retreats I've been doing with Alan Chapman, there's been a side quest where people have been off and scrying the Aethers, and I had to go and failed miserably. It just didn't happen, and it's not that I don't have any kind of trance ability or vision. I'm quite good at remote viewing, as we have seen from the couple of videos. Not world champion by any means, but I understand the process, and I have a sort of somewhat an imaginative visionary capacity, but just nothing was happening. So I said, I'm going to put it away and try it with Spud. So that's what we're going to do. Then at the end, being that it is the 21st in the conjunction, and Carl Jung said it's the end of the world today, we thought we'd give him a phone call, Mr. Carl, and see what he's got to say for himself. So that's the kind of the general layout, the plan of what we're about to do. It'll be interesting to see if it goes well.
It might work.
Yeah, it might work. I suppose we have to point out that there is an extra ingredient in that Spud had some dodgy mushrooms with his dinner this evening that are kind of, they're not sitting well in your stomach or giving you a weird feeling or something.
They didn't look right now. I don't know what it was, and I just.
So you were saying there was some sort of like almost blue tinge to them or something that was.
Yeah, I found them on the street there, and there was a man, and the man, he asked for money, and I was like no, and. So then I just took him anyway, and then put him in the dinner, and like the kids went to bed really happy. We were watching some Netflix with him there, and then like suddenly like the oldest one, he's like, Dad, will you put on some Pink Floyd? I was like, yeah, man, that's a great idea, and yeah, it's been groovy since then, you know. So pretty mad. He's like 5 and he's mad into like his 70s guitar music. He loves fucking Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin. It's crazy to see him.
Well, I suppose, I mean,
how are you so cool already? I had to get to like 20 before I heard of these bands, you know.
Yeah, I don't think I got into Zeppelin until I was like 16, 17, you know. But such is the way. I was a huge Saw Doctor from Bryan Adams fan in my early teens. Not tell you exactly where I'm coming from. Right, so will we just do it then, I suppose?
I know, it's too early. I need to tell you about my nipples.
Oh, right, okay. Right, this is going to be fun.
So I've been telling you about the thing with the hospital and the doctors and this asthma thing sorted out, right? So they're so fucking thorough here that they wanted me to do a CT scan. Yeah, you know the one you lie down and you go into this portal Stargate thing and you go into it. So anyway, I was psyching myself up for this. And I looked up, like, how long does it take? What do I need to do? And you need to take your clothes off and wear a gown and all this thing. If you have any piercings, take them out. And I went, no.
Yeah.
Fuck. So I had to take out my tongue piercing. I have an ear piercing, the scaffold thing is called. And I had my left nipple is pierced. And I've had them for, oh God, I think I've had them longer for... No, that doesn't make sense. I've had them longer than I've been alive. That that doesn't make any sense at all.
Were you truly alive until you started getting pierced? Is that?
I don't know. I've had them for over half of my life. That's what I meant to say. Yeah. I've had them longer. No, is it? I've had them for longer than I didn't have them. Is that right?
Oh, yes,
that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Although the nipple, did I tell you about I have a horrible story with the nipple piercing.
About mine. I ended up having to do it myself because the one
no, yours is worse then.
Yeah, couldn't get it through, and it goes, I'm doing it, bang. Not that I've like titanium nipples or anything. It's just she was just slightly inexperienced.
Yeah. Oh no, I was getting mine done by some young one who had never done it before, and it was during her training, and it was
something similar for me. Actually, to be fair,
that's weird. That's another fucking coincidence. And so it was in fucking Miss Fantasia's, that place in the dodgy sex shop in Dublin.
Yeah.
Where everyone gets their first piercing, and like your one is like screwing it in, and next thing it's just fucking, and like obviously it's fucking sore, and I'm like, I have a woolly hat, and I'm biting down on it because it's so fucking sore. And next thing she's putting on the ball, and it just goes, across the room, and she turns around to your man and she's like, Glenn, what do I do now? And Glenn is there sitting on his computer watching fucking KKK YouTube videos. He was a horrible person, and he had these horns implanted under his head and stuff. He was a weird guy, and and he's just laughing at me, and I'm just in the worst horrible pain. And then I met Aga, and then stuff happened, and then the next morning I didn't have it. And I don't know where to this day we don't know what Aga did with my nipple piercing. Honestly, we haven't fucking clue. And it was gone, that's all we know. And so then I had to get it done again a second time. And now I don't think I'm gonna get, but like I fucking, because it's healing, like it's really itchy.
Oh yeah, was that too long to put it back in, was it?
Yeah, it was out too long. And I was just like, it's itchy now, and also because it's itchy, kind of horny because you're touching it a lot, you know. It's fucking awful, Tommie. Like I'm fucking walking down the street and I'm like, oh god, I'd love some now, you know.
As opposed to normally walking down the street going, jeez, I'd love some.
I know, yeah, that's the thing. Like fucking red-blooded Irish male, fucking wanted most of the time anyway. But now it's like, oh my god, you know. So yeah, that's how my week's been going.
I had kind of a weird week with loads of things not working and stuff. The heating in the house stopped working. The heating in the office, my new heater, I got it replaced today in Woody's. They were all somewhat friendly. They don't, you know, obviously they don't like when you come back and go, hey, this doesn't work. And at least 5 people had to have a look at it just to make sure it didn't work. Not one of them tested it though. Just had to have a look at it.
Just looking at it.
Yeah, but and then when I got the new one, the same thing was happening. So I assume it's something I'm doing. But like, what could I be doing to, you know, on, off? And now it's not coming on.
Gas cylinder thing, yeah.
I was looking up a thing and saying that some of them can have this oxygen thing if there's not enough oxygen in the room. They lock it. So it's probably, you know, I'm probably better off, you know, because I could be killing myself. So I need to get one of those carbon monoxide thing. I'm sure I'm not, because it's like. You wouldn't know what.
You wouldn't know. You just collapse. You'd be dead. No, just open a window. No, but then it's going to be cold. So I don't. Purpose.
Yeah. So I just need to get a carbon monoxide thing. But the room size is literally to the button, the minimum spec. So I could be pushing it on you know, just. Right. But okay. I got the heating eventually sorted out in the house as well. We've underflow heating, and the guy, when we built the house 10 years ago, the guy put it in. He was from Donegal, so you know this starting well. He put it in, and then had to run away to America for some cowboy reason, and kind of left the job half done. And so we had a number of people trying to, you know, pick up where, and because underfloor heating at that time was quite new, all the plumbers, like your general, you know, your toilet sink plumbers, were kind of going, I don't know, you know, I don't know. So it never worked properly. And essentially, it was one of those things that plumbers are impossible to get because they just don't want to come to your house and fix, you know, things. They want to be working on an estate or, you know, the one thing. So you get a number of plumbers come down over the years and went, oh, yeah, I'll come back tomorrow and sort you out. And then you never hear from them again and they stop answering the phone. So I had to spend a long time with some YouTube videos and general things. So I know a lot about underfloor heating now and manifolds and stuff. To the point that, like... I fixed our underflow heating, but every year there's a bigger problem that I can't see, because it seems to every year you have to kind of start the same process again. That, you know, and it's only upstairs. The downstairs works fine, but it's just weird. A giant. Yeah,
it's just like it's pumping the water up. Then it's like it's just the radiators, isn't it? Kind of.
Yeah, so it's pumping it up, and then so you have to take the air out, but it has those things, the airlocks, that so you shouldn't ever have to bleed it. You know, there's that automatic thing. But there's, at some point, there's water, there's gaps, you know, of large enough things that... And then there's a possibility of a leak, because when I was in the office, in the house, you could hear kind of a drip. But after 10 years... Yeah, but 10 years, you would think you'd have seen evidence of it, would you? I don't know.
Well, unless there's damp and it's climbing up your walls, and then you're all going to get, like, pneummonia and stuff like that.
No, well, there's no... No, anyway. So the house got hot.
You're grand.
But but it was just one of those kind of things. And then like one of my debit cards, like it's not one I use particularly often, but I mean I know what the pin is. It's the same pin I've had 20 million years. You know, the thing is.
Yeah, what is it? Tell the listeners. You can trust them. 1 9. No. And then all of a sudden it decided, no, that's not the pin. I was going, what? That's weird.
That is weird, like, isn't it? That's not. But I can use it in Google Pay fine, so it's not that it's locked or anything, you know. It's just, and you can tap it and do all that kind of stuff.
That's weird, yeah.
Yeah, so a number of kind of different things like that. Just,
but you know what it is, don't you? It's this thing. I mentioned it last week. This thing about the difference between the law of attraction and surrendering, and that like, well, this is what I've come to think it is anyway. It's you're just trying to hammer something to get done, you know what I mean? And the world is saying, no, you need to do this, no, you need to do that, no, you need to do that. And in your head, because you're we're all fucking egomaniacs. We're like, no, I don't fucking have time to fix the fucking floor. The floor needs fixing, just do it. You'll learn something. You know what I mean?
It. And it's
hard to do, though. It's very hard to do. And
it's kind of like going, not only have I to do my comic, I now have to learn how to do underfloor heating. And I have to, you know, and it's just an added thing. But it's like, where was it? Someone was saying, oh, it was one of the Buddhist things I was listening to recently, and it just kind of maybe it wasn't. I don't know what it was, but it was just kind of saying how to know what the next thing is that you know you have to do. What is it? Is you do the next thing that you have to do. So if your underfloor heating isn't working, you fix the underfloor heating. If your baby's crying, you know, you sort out the baby, whatever it is, you know, and you kind of just have to, that's what it is, you know. And it's, again, come back to the whole thing of that the reason why there is dukkha, there is suffering, is because we want things to be different than they are, and you know, rather just
like
accept
how are you supposed to ever fucking plan that? And then because like this today I finally put up some of the Christmas lights out in the garden, you know, but I've been wanting to do it since we came back from.
But I suppose the answer is now is the time that you do it, you know.
Yeah, well, I know, but it's this thing is that like you're trying to do it, but I'm not forcing it. I'll do it. I want to do it today. I've been saying that I want to do it. I've been wanting to do it every single day, but I haven't been able to fit it in. Today I was able to fit it in, but why?
It's that kind of question that I always struggle with, particularly with the Buddhism thing, is that where to know when you force something, or you know where the ambition and letting things happen, you know, is it like and determinism, or you know, leaving it up to the fate, and also just letting life happen to you, which I don't think is.
But it's stuff as well as that, like, well, I mean, Crowley had a good thing about it. In he was saying that like you should never. You should never force your will on anybody unless it's a child. No, that sounds rapey. You should never.
It is Crowley.
Crowley. No, because you have to teach them. Is what he meant. You know what I mean? Like they don't know themselves yet, but like don't force your will on any other adults. But bring up children properly was what he was getting at. You know, but like
he really followed that advice from himself, didn't he? Plainly, yeah.
But like I mean, I was on horse riding today, and like I'm on top of the horse and I'm showing you actions now. That's what I was doing. I'm trying to pull down my fucking jeans. Why am I pulling down my jeans? I'm getting itchy or something. I was on the horse. I was on the horse and I was thinking like, but like with a horse, I don't know, like if anyone's done much horse riding, like you have to show them you're the fucking alpha male. Like you, otherwise horses get very lazy very fucking quickly. So
right.
Like even though like with a Buddhist thing, you're supposed to be nice to the animals and not eat the animals and yada yada. Okay, I get that. But like with horses, that's not the fucking same. Well, most farm animals, it's not. Like you gotta.
Well, no, I suppose in that case, it would be that you have to do the right action, and the right action is to is to treat the horse the way it needs to be treated to do the.
Well, yeah, but like don't be mean. Don't be hitting it for the sake of hitting it. But it's just like, you know, you gotta pull the reins a bit harder to make it do what you need to do. You know.
Yeah. It's an odd one. It's a hard to no. I think I think it's an odd. Maybe some Buddhists could come on and explain it to us a bit better at some point. But it is that hard knowing where the line is of allowing but not allowing so much that you're just, you know, all you're ever doing is reacting to the world. You're never putting your will into the world or whatever, those type of things. And it's probably just a bad understanding that I personally have of what the Buddha was saying. Rather than, I think it's do your thing, but if it doesn't work out, don't get annoyed about it. I think that's probably, you know.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay, so basically I can do the lotto every week and not get annoyed that it doesn't
but is that a sensible action? Is that something that is, you know, likely to bring you happiness or sadness? Or is
if you win it, it is.
Yeah, but how likely is that to happen?
That's not likely at all, but it's still worth a shot, like, isn't it?
Is it?
You know. I don't know. I mean, I tried to do the maths on it one time and I just went, no, I can't.
But you remember when the lottery came out in Ireland first, that they did do the maths on it, and this conglomerate got together and won it. Like so much so that they had to add an extra 8 numbers so that it would make it.
Hey, they done it more than once. It was a Trinity College lecturer, and he done it with his class. And because he done it the first time, then they added some numbers, and he done it again a few years later, and they added more numbers, and now it's just not. It's not feasible now to do it because
financially.
Financially, yeah, because they were making a lot. Like they won the big prize, but they were also winning all the small prizes too. They were winning the whole pot kind of thing, which is unheard of, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still gonna do the lotto from time to time, you know. But like you see, like your man Nuggin on your Discord, he does the lotto, and he buys his little ticket. He does a sigil on it.
His wee
comes back a while later. It comes back a while later, and he does fairly well.
He does do fairly well, yeah. I mean, but I know people who don't do magic who do fairly well in lottery things. Like my dad does fairly well in lotteries things, and he always kind of has. And I've met other people who do it. Like, but I've often wondered how many lottery tickets is he buying though? You know what I mean? Like not necessarily my dad or Nogan, but it's like. It's like, you know, the gambler type of thing. You go, oh, geez, you always win on the football, but you don't see the 10 other bets that day that he didn't win on, you know.
Yeah.
And the people coming to take away his washing machine and all that, all that kind of stuff or whatever. But no, he does seem to do well. So I mean, yeah.
I was going to ask you, what's been your kind of highlight of the podcasts?
Of the year?
Do you have? Yeah. What's your favourite ones?
I think your nervous breakdown over the 17 is definitely one of my favourites. Personally speaking.
Yeah, that was
the first time you got proper annoyed on the podcast.
I did have a bit of a nervous breakdown, right? Big existential thing, and I still, whenever I think about it, I still change my mind on it the whole time. You know, I'd kill to hear that song. It's probably dog shit, like. But,
I'd say it's not good. I'd put money on it being not good.
But then I totally understand. Like, I'd love to have the balls to do a kind of art thing like that, you know. Yeah. Then again, like, I can make something the whittle thing and then just burn them that night. Just sacrifice it. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe
4 or 5 hours of doing it.
Maybe that's what you have to do. You have to set them on fire. I don't know.
I like him. I think I'll call him. I know. Yeah, I'll have to do. He's good though for a first go. I'll have to.
Yeah, no, it is pretty good. You'll have to put a picture up in the Discord for people.
No, I think maybe the next one. Oh, he's frowning at me here now. So he is. Oh, you don't love me? No, I do love you. Tempeh.
Yeah, I mean, there's like any number. When you think of like the first one's Hellier, like that's gone back. That was season 2.
Yeah. I think what really got me not on board, because I wanted to do the podcast with you from the start anyway, but what really fucking changed my mind about Woo was that book we did fairly early on. What was it called? Stealing the Light of Heaven, or what was it called?
Stealing the Fire from Heaven. Yeah.
Yeah, and it had the
Stephen Mace. Am I right? Yeah, Stephen Mace.
Stephen Mace. That's it.
Yeah.
And like the opening page or something is like, Magick is like, oh fuck, what was the word? Psychotechnology, and I went,
oh yeah,
haha,
yeah.
Now I get it. Okay. And but then like there was the cum guzzling, which I'm not into. Well, I mean, to be honest, I don't know if I'm into it.
We did well for year 1. You know, year 2 is the whole cum guzzling year ahead of us, to worry about.
Did you say goat cum? Oh my god.
Well, I mean, after 2020, you might go, oh, we've had such a shit year. I may as well swallow some cum. You know what I mean? Yeah, put it on a cracker. Anyway? Put it on a cracker.
That's what it is. It's the fucking Aion of Aquarius, and the guy is holding. Everyone thinks it's water. It's not water. It's cum.
It's cum, right? I was on Reddit earlier on, and was reliably informed on Oracult that it's not going to be Aquarius. It's actually still going to be. It's moving into Capricorn. So it depends on there's 2 astrologies. So
no. Yeah. But which one has the 13? Which is that's just
there's the I can't remember. It's like not topological, whatever. There's 2 kind of things, and they're slightly askew of each other. One's going into Capricorn, one's going into Aquarius. But
I thought it was where the sun rises in the.
I don't know. It's not my area. It's one I did do the Benabel when course, and it's really really good. But you have to keep at it. It's it's not stuff I could retain, because it's so much of it, and you'd have to be practicing it. It's like the tarot. Imagine you didn't do the tarot for a couple of years. You'd forget what the 6 of
Yeah,
Cups.
of course you forget. Look, every time I do a divination with herself, I have to look it up. I have no idea what the cards mean. You know what I mean? Not at all. Like, I mean, yours are more
Simple.
no, you can get a better reading of them because it's more of an archetype thing. You know what I mean? Like when you get Crowley's Thoth things, and there's like 15 different images going on. You're like, oh Jesus, what? Yeah. Okay, I better look this up.
Or you get the tarot decks where it's literally 6 swords, and you go, all right, that's not helpful. Yeah, give me a picture at least.
There's a thing. I was reading a bit about Cuchulainn today, and he had this thing with when he first met Emer, who he fell in love with. They were speaking to each other in riddles, and she said something, or he got a look at her boobs.
Oh right,
from her dress, you know, he got to see some of the cleavage thing, and he said, "I will lay my sword there." I was like, good man, Cuchulainn. And then she turned around and she's like, "No man shall roam that country." Until he kills 8 men. He kills 8 men when there are 9 in a row, or something like that. She sets him these.
Is this a kind of an equivalent of Macbeth, that no man born of woman shall kill me? But we have cesarean section. That's not a loophole.
See, I got you, Willie. But you knew that. Out Liam, huh? He was real, wasn't he? Well, there's good conspiracy stuff about him that I used to know, but I don't know them anymore.
Oh, that's someone else. It's some
it's someone else. Yeah. The what do you call it? Neil Gaiman has a good one about him, about how he owed a favour to the fairy people or something.
Oh yeah, it's because he sold his soul, didn't he? To not sold his soul, but owed a favour to Morpheus. And
so he had to write 3 plays that are completely like different than the other ones. They're all about the woo-woo land and moo-moo land. Maybe that's where it all comes from, man. Shakespeare started fucking Discordianism.
Midsummer Night's Dream, isn't it? Is that what it's called?
That's one. Yeah, that's the one in the book. I'm trying to think the name of and extending this sentence so that I'm trying to give my brain never where. No, that's the fucking other thing. Sandman.
Did you listen to the audio book?
No, I haven't listened to it.
It's really good. It's really good. Yeah. It only goes up as far as there, I think. No, it goes to this one after.
Oh, we've been listening to your man, John
Vervaeke. I've learned how to, He's
good lad, isn't he? Yeah, he's great. He's a bit intense though. I had to take a break there for a couple of days.
Yeah, there was one, you were saying he did it earlier, obviously, where he starts slamming on the desk. He's really getting into it. It's going, yeah, John, you tell me.
You tell, like... I still don't know if there's people in that room. I think there is.
No, I'm going to say that there's like the cameraman's girlfriend and the sound man's boyfriend.
God, he takes enlightenment fucking seriously, doesn't he? Jesus, Mary and Joseph, like. Yeah. There's no messing with... Well, there is messing with him. I'd say he has a good sense of humour, but like he's fucking full on into it. He's great. People should check him out. He's like the anti of fucking Jonathan Peugeot.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like, I mean, he's the same college as Jordan Peterson, and like someone says like, well, what did they put in the water up there, like, you know? But there is a couple of debates from years ago, 5, 6 years ago, where they were obviously, you know, it was at the college and they kind of talk to each other, and you can just kind of see that John's looking at Peterson going, and at one point he does mention it, you know, he says, geez, you said about 17,000 things there, you know, which one am I going to respond to? Just he's just like, bah!
Who says that? Peterson said that to him, or
no? Vervaeke says it to Peterson.
Well, I think he caught some of that then, because his lectures are very similar. Like, I had to slow down with them because it was just like I felt I wasn't retaining it, you know.
Yeah, and the other thing, his voice does not lend itself to 2x or 1.5 in the way some people's voices do. It's not that like he's fairly articulate, and it's not, but there's kind of his
inflection. There's too much information. There's too much information to be listened to. Like I said that to you the first when you sent me the playlist, and I was like, I like this guy so much. I'm listening to it at normal speed, like, and I do like I like him a lot. But he's quite intense. But he knows his stuff. Like that's why. Yeah, that's why, because you know yourself, there's so many fucking YouTubers who paint themselves as a fucking expert on something, and they're just not winging it the whole time. But this guy's a proper professional with the years of teaching behind him. That's the thing. Like, it's just you can see a big difference with lots of people, because they're just like, okay, this guy's been and it's not that he has the letters behind his name. That doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
It's
matter.
That he has the experience of
hold on.
being able to get it across to people.
It kind of does matter in a way. In the thing that we've talked about before is, why doesn't, you know, Graham Hancock just get his bloody degree or his thing, and spend 4 years, and then no one can shove it in his face that he doesn't have one. That he's not a real scientist. It's like.
No, but it's like, I mean, it's a thing. Academic kind of snobbery is like, well, you don't deserve to have an opinion on this because you don't have the credentials, and that's bollocks, obviously. But like, this fella doesn't know how to teach what he's talking about because he knows it so well. There's a big difference between like the likes of, say, me, who like I've read, say, one book on Austin Osman Spare and make a video about it, and like that's not as good as someone who's like,
and the other thing, I suppose, like he's been doing it whatever it is, 28 years, so he's like used to putting coherent sentences together that people understand. Like he spent probably the first 10 years people not understanding what he was saying, so now he's kind of honed his kind of his thoughts, but he's very good. And it's like there's so many times where you go, fuck, right.
No, that's it. Yeah. Like the whole thing about, there's one thing about the distraction. Like he's like, no, distraction is really good for you. It's great for you, actually. Yeah. Because it opens a path to something else. It's like,
it allows you to come back at your problem from a different angle that you wouldn't normally have. So you're breaking. It's about breaking down your patterns. I was going, and there's another one where he's like, and it's so simple, and we know it. Like where he goes, we find it very hard to separate the event from the meaning we place on it, so much so that the event becomes the meaning, and you kind of go, oh yeah, but like, did I not know that? And I don't think I did. I don't think I did. I kind of like, I know the words I have. I've probably said those words in the same sentence, but like, it's just whatever we exchange, you kind of go, oh yeah, no, it's the event is the event, and the meaning is the meaning. How
did I miss that? Yeah. It's class. It's they were like a year old, aren't they? The videos. They're not that old. Like,
no, they're not that. I think there's 50 of them, so I think it ends, relatively recently too.
It's a fucking full year, of course. Does he wear the same shirt through the whole thing? I hope he does. Is he one of them, is he?
No, every 6 episodes he changes, so I assume to do 6 episodes.
So
and then
6 hours. He does 6 hours of talking.
Well, I suppose that's what he would do at work anyway. Like, but I suppose if you're hiring a sound man and a cameraman and thing, you're going to go, well, I'm going to hire you for 10 hours rather than. Yeah,
how does that work in that college? You see Jordan Peterson's ones as well. It's like, and like it has like a. Like someone's, it's a camera operator. Like he's following.
If the Peterson one anyway, that came out of because he was originally just doing it on his iPad, on the thing, and the early ones are that kind of quality. But he's actually funnier in them ones. But he paid 2 cameramen for those ones, So that was before he even became Jordan Peterson. Like that was just him getting kind of a relative success on YouTube because of his lectures, not the stardom thing. But I mean, it's probably if you have put together this type of course and this type of thing, and it's the same thing every year, it's probably a good thing to record it. Or maybe had an idea of the way people do lectures and then they get them transcribed and it becomes the book and all that kind of be all part of that process.
Jesus, I'm glad no one ever did it when I was going to college, because it'd just be me just putting my hand out going, no, that's bullshit.
I went to hippie college, so it's not quite the same experience. But I thought the whole idea of the lectures was that you weren't allowed to interrupt the professor or whatever.
No, not at all. No, you're definitely allowed.
No one on YouTube interrupts anyone, so.
Well, I mean, that's a difference between Peterson and Varenki. Is that how you say his name? Yeah.
Well, think of it Verfeki, isn't it? Verfeki.
So what I used to like about watching Peterson's ones is that he would go into the audience and he would say, well, I mean, you know this and you know this and how is this relevant to you in your life? And then like the girl is like
terrified.
Shit, what? But like they give an answer. Like I like that. But I used to like that in school anyway, because otherwise it's just boring. You're sitting there listening to a fucking monologue,
Yeah.
No, but I was College was good crack for me. I used to have not rows, but I would, make them earn their money, like, But I wanted to know, like, I mean, that was the thing. It was like, no, well, Kellana, can you explain that a bit? No, I'm not getting. I did get kicked out of class one time though for fucking falling asleep. I wouldn't mind, but I had drank like 3 Red Bulls and coffee as well, but I had worked like 3 or 4 nights in a row or something, and I just nodded off. Yeah. It was fucking embarrassing, so it was awful. But yeah. Oh yeah, I never told you. My school was founded by Arthur Griffith. You know him from Sinn Féin. He established Sinn Féin, and almost all of my lectures had something to do with Sinn Féin. You know, so like I went to a radical left fucking university or college. Yeah, very much so.
And is that how you became a cultural Marxist?
That's exactly how I became. I was indoctrinated, you know, into it. It was mad. Like every now and again, you'd see their names in like the Sunday papers connected with like Sinn Féin, you know, and then like they'd have to come in to us the next Monday or Tuesday. Like, yeah, so you probably saw my name. Look, I'm just a treasurer. That's all I do. Like, you know, it's no big deal. And
I just killed the odd fella. You know.
Yeah, well, yeah. You want to go there? Because I worked at a pub in Finglas, and man, I have fucking stories about that.
All right,
place.
I'm from Dundalk. What do you want? Do you think I don't have any stories?
We won't go there. We won't go there on a downer. So look, what's the story? Were you going to be able to see this fucking star thing tonight or whatever?
I tell you, it's 1:30 my time is what the one place I looked to
2:30.
see. Yeah,
I'm not going to be awake.
Allegedly it'll look no brighter than any other night. Anyway, it's just going to look the same as what Jupiter looks like. But
isn't man, it's just like the thing I was saying to you last week of the moon. Like the moon's always full. It's just from our perspective, it's not full. So this is from whose perspective? That ours. Saturn, and just ours as well. Like even from the sun, they'll also be somewhat closer.
No, because I mean that's millions of miles away. So the perspective, like it'll be somewhat close. Maybe it might. I don't know how it works, but I know its only conjunction is from our point of view, which all of these things are. Like any of the like. Aquarius, Capricorn, Jimmy, all of those star signs. It's all from our point of view.
I wonder is the Federation of Intergalactic Doohickeys, are they like looking at us going, they're still looking at the stars, these fucking idiots, like, you know, and now they're making bombs. What the fuck? Like, we gotta go down there and disarm the fucking bombs. Can they not just save us from ourselves? Maybe that's what's going to happen tonight.
Maybe it is. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I mean, I understand. Like, I mean, the star thing. People go, oh yeah, it's, you know, if you go a million miles to your left is completely different. Yeah, but we're machines that make meaning. That's what we do. And so like we've made meaning out of the things that surround us, and they're meaningful to us, so therefore they're meaningful. So
well, they are if you give them meaning.
That's what I mean. Like the thing. There's an event and then there's meaning.
Yeah. This is my problem with your man Peugeot. Peugeot puts too much meaning and too much symbolism on stuff, and like I remember, was it what's his name? Hemingway. Ernest is his first name, isn't it?
Yeah.
He has a great thing. There's two famous things he said about symbolism. One was when some 16-year-old kid wrote to a load of famous writers at the time. Jack Kerouac was one, or is that how you say his surname?
Kerouac.
What did I call him? Whatever, doesn't matter.
Knick-knack, paddywhack.
Knick-knack, paddywhack. Ayn Rand was another one. Ayn Rand's answer was great. She's like, "That your question doesn't make any sense. It's not symbolism at all. Leave me alone."
Nice. Fair enough.
And Hemingway was like, "No, it's an old man. There's the old man symbolizes an old man. The sea symbolizes the sea. That's what it is." And then there's another one a few years later. He's getting asked about, look, do you mind people reviewing your work? And he's like, no, it's their job to review. And reviewers add more meaning to a book. But like the thing is that when paraphrasing, but it's kind of like you only get back the symbolism that you put into something, you know. And that's my thing with Peugeot. Peugeot is just loading symbolism that he's desperate to find, you know.
I get that, but there is some of it that I've something else I want to say about this, but there is something about some of the things that Peugeot points at that you go, that's actually brilliant. Now, I do agree with what you're saying, but the kind of counter it's the whole Alan Moore Watchmen thing, where there's a whole lot of symbolism and stuff that he didn't write that is absolutely perfect. You know, so it's because you were saying it's you only put the, you know, what you put in it is all you get. And he goes, well, maybe not. Maybe, you know, it you know, kind of.
Yeah, but sure, look, it's like the whole tarot thing is like that as well. Like the tarot was a fucking card game, and now like it's after lining up with the Kabbalistic tree of life perfectly in every way. It's like how would that happen? That's strange.
But then people go one step further, like Paul Foster Case, who was saying, I have a similar feeling towards that you have the Peugeot. He tends to me seems to look for too much, but that could also be I have to be aware of that. I just don't understand it, you know, that to me it just looks like, oh, you're, you know, seeing everything as connected. Maybe they are, and just my little brain can't get there. But
I don't know. I think shoehorn that was another answer from that 16-year-old thing. I don't remember who wrote it to him. Maybe it was F. Scott Fitzgerald or something. And it's kind of like symbolism from a writer shouldn't be noticeable. It shouldn't be in there. Shouldn't be put in there consciously. I think is what the way he wrote it. So it's that like if there is some sort of symbolism that you pick up on, well then the writer shouldn't have shoehorned it in because then it's so fucking noticeable. And that's what I get from Peugeot. Is like he's just fucking like if you throw enough shit at the wall, it's gonna fucking. Do you know?
Yeah. No, I understand, and it's like I'm reading his brother's book, and it's quite good, but it's very, very short chapters. It's like some of them aren't even a page. It's very odd.
Dan Brown kind of thing, is it?
Yeah, it's kind of. You definitely could have put some of these together, but I understand it, the type of thing. And some of it, you just go, wow, yeah, no, I never would have got. It's like Answer to Job by Carl Jung. I would never have got to the conclusions that Jung did about that book and how it affects the New Testament. But I completely, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And some of that kind of stuff is what I get.
I understand you.
Yeah. Right. I'm also reading Duncan Barford's new book.
Oh, is it good?
Yeah, it's just like the next Baptist Head trilogy, literally the day after. Well, not literally, but soon after. It's like from 2009 or whatever again,
So it must amalgamate then that book that I sent you during the week that no one can seem to find anymore. The handbook for the recently enlightened is from Open Enlightenment, that website that they did after Baptist Head in Allen. Okay. And then there's another one called The Retreat, which I don't think I've read. And then there's the first Cult Experiments in the Home, which I'm not sure if the ones that are in that book are in the new book, but I definitely, because it's a short book as well. It was only about like 100 pages, so. Anyway, definitely worth getting. What's he doing? Is he? Because he has enlightenment now, obviously. So what's the kind of
Well, he's the blog back Cult Experiments in the Home.
Yeah.
From my understanding, is he trained to be a psychologist. Or something along those. But he's always kind of kept in with Daniel Ingram, because there's a couple of podcasts of the two of them on a casino retreat, meditation retreat and stuff like that. But he seems to have whatever. Maybe he only needed to go dark while he was studying or something. I don't know, or until he got qualified, and now he can do what he wants, or whatever. I don't know. You should interview him in the new year on a podcast.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah. Let's get on to him. Hello, Duncan. He follows me now on Twitter.
Nice.
Right, let's do it.
Right.
What are we doing first? Aion.
Yeah, Aion Tempe. Well, we're just going to go with Aion. It's Aion. It's the correct pronunciation, seemingly. So, Aion. So we start with lighting the candle in my lantern. I have 2 lighters because one of them has a flame and one has gas. That's how we roll here.
You want me to do this as well? I have your thing, your prayer disc, if you want.
Oh yeah, use it. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, hold on, give me a second.
Yeah. While he's away, I will point out that I've also been drinking Guinness, so I'm getting in with the festive spirit as well. In front of me on my desk, right, so you know, I have the lamp with a candle burning. So this is going to be my offering to Aion. I have the Aion symbol and I have the Tempeh symbol, and they're similar. They're both a triangle and a circle, but the placement of the circle is different on the Aion, so it has elevated slightly. And I'm going to do an invocation that it comes from the Magia teachings by Alan Chapman of Aion. And then get Spud to, in some way, I suppose, scry or see if you can get some sort of impressions of it. So we'll have to ask Spud, does he want to switch off? Can you hear me? You can't hear me yet, yeah. Have you some sort of eye covering or something that you could use, or are you happy, are you happy just closing your eyes, or what?
No, just close my eyes. That's what I do. Yeah.
Right, you good to go, yeah? Or will you gonna light your candle?
Ooh. Come on. Don't really need my laptop, do I? So I close that down. Mm-hmm. Put it on the laptop. Hopefully it won't burn. Alright. My laptop.
Okay, so we go into the invocation. After the I suppose you can get into start getting trancy, get your eyes closed, get relaxed.
Okay, I'm going to turn off the video here because it'd be weird.
Yeah. No worries. Just don't end the call. Bye.
Right.
Okay.
Bye.
This is a new offering of a new Aion. when the men and women of Alabaster shall walk the earth, and though it may burn, the forest will not be destroyed. We look to the west to find you. Out of the setting sun we call you, Aion! For that is your true name, and you are true God. Aion. We've returned to the west and stepped into the vanishing light. We call upon you to gather us up and give us the strength to make of us your avatars, the men and women of Alabaster that protect the forest and do not burn. So that is the invocation. So, Spud, I'm going to leave you for a couple of minutes or a couple of things just to get into the zone, into the thing, and then I will talk to Aion through you, and I'll keep it kind of, I suppose, as open as possible.
Let's do it again.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The invocation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I got something.
Okay.
Quick, but it went very quickly.
Okay, right. So, this is the new offering of a new Aion, when the men and women of Alabaster shall walk the earth, and though it may burn, the forest will not be destroyed. We look to the west to find you. Out of the setting sun we call you, Aion! For that is your true name, and you are true God. Aion! We've returned to the west and stepped into the vanishing light. We call upon you to gather us up and give us the strength to make of us your avatars, the men and women of Alabaster that protect the forest and do not burn. So, Aion, we call on you to communicate with us tonight. And if you have a particular message that you have for either me or Spud that you would like to relay, we would definitely like to hear it. Or if you have a more general message, or even some sort of vision or something, please use Spud as a conduit and allow him to see the visions or to see the message appear before him so that he may be able to describe it for me and anyone who listens to this. So in your own time, Spud, if anything happens.
Green planet, Tommie. There's a green planet. It's been washed over by water. That just jumped straight in there. The first thing I got during the first evoking was how to explain it? You know, when you're drawing and you learn to draw and you learn to draw buildings in a perspective, like an angle, yeah?
Yeah.
And so there was just a rush of white that came at me from a kind of point in the distance. So, yeah, I don't know, I think he was saying hello kind of thing, or something was saying hello on you.
Okay.
First thing I got there was, yeah, just a green planet, just bare, it's green, and then water rises and there's waves appear. So that, I don't know, maybe that's us. No.
Should I ask questions, or what did you want to just kind of sit with that?
I'm not sure. I mean, I feel comfortable if he's here. There's, I think there's some kind of communication has been set up. So, hello, Aion.
Aion, is there something you could tell us or about our current situation that we need to be aware of, being that the kind of weird year that we've had?
Technology, Tommie. Technology is, we need to appreciate the balance of it. That's what he's saying.
Okay.
Or what you yeah. There can be a great benefit of it, from it, with it, but you're focused on too much on the badness of it. People are I can feel my voice changing, that's fucking weird. People are getting dragged down by
by people are getting dragged down by outside forces. By they are. It's like they're being programmed to follow patterns. People are falling into them too easily.
Like an algorithm?
No, not an algorithm.
Okay.
Like
roles?
People are being programmed, but not in the way that you're thinking of computer programs. People are seeing how they should live according to what they see, and they're not feeling it. They're not feeling how they should be living their lives. People need more nature in their lives. People need to get to know the earth more. Be kinder to it. It'll be here a lot longer than humanity will be. It was here a lot longer before humanity came about.
Is there a special significance cosmically to the conjunction that happens, or is it just that is happening tonight, today, or is it just
not from our perspective. From your perspective, it is something new.
Is this the end of an Aion, or like an end of an era?
Depends on the perspective.
From the perspective of a human,
then time is always changing.
I suppose then what the question I'm asking is there great upheaval and disaster ahead of us, or is it going to get better, or is it going to get worse?
Balance. There has always been bad and good. That isn't to excuse the horrors of war, disease, famine, death. Even what you call the Enlightenment wasn't good for all of the planet. It only became good with perspective and time passing. The same with the Renaissance. What you call a Renaissance only happened in one country. But from your history books, you would be led to believe it was a global phenomenon. It wasn't. Mankind isn't doomed in the way that doom prophets say that it is. But it's not helping itself. It's not helping. It's being too destructive, and it's turning away from itself and becoming what it's not supposed to be.
What's the best advice that you can give us right now, going into the whatever happens next?
You're all different, but you're also all the same. You're all within each other. You have something that the other creatures weren't given and don't have. Some of them are close to you, but they're not quite there, and it will be a long time before they are there. Compassion for your fellow man. Would really help you out a lot. You all have the power to love each other and to look after where you are, but you're not doing it. Some people are doing it, but not enough.
Is there anything that a message you would like Spud to know?
Spud's going to be fine. Don't be nervous, he says. I'm freaking out here, man. Yeah. I feel a fucking cosmic hug, man.
Oh, that's sweet.
Okay, you want to keep going?
Well, it's up to you. What are you feeling?
Yeah. I think he's still here.
Okay. Aion, have you anything that you could, or that you want to share with me?
Shown me a flower opening. So, obviously, you need to open up or blossom, or you will blossom if you open up more. Life ain't easy. For everybody, not just you. But the good bits are what you'll take with you. So remember that. Keep doing what you love. And give more love. Doesn't cost you it. He's saying you're a skinflint, man.
Am I going to get visited by 3 ghosts?
That's mad. Fucking hell. I didn't expect that to happen at all, to be honest.
My fire went out as soon as he started talking.
Yeah?
Yeah. Of course it did.
Of course it did. Because you're the speaker. Oh, that was emotional, man. Jeez, I felt like crying there a couple of times.
Yeah, can you describe that then?
Oh, my light's gone out! Shit! Oh. What the fuck? We better say goodbye to him. I don't feel right about just ending that.
Okay,
like that. Is there a way to say goodbye?
Of course. Thank you very much, Aion, for joining us tonight. That was a wonderful experience, and I really appreciate that you would grace us with your presence. And you're, of course, now free to go. You have the license to depart, and so be it.
Thank you. That's me saying thank you, not him. I'll turn back on the video here. That was intense, huh?
Cool, as they say here. Yeah, so describe that for those listeners at home.
I don't know.
You all right? Like, do you want to take a break right now? Or do you
No, I'm alright. Just a bit stuff for words. I could feel it. I said it to you during the thing. I felt my voice kind of change. Maybe you won't hear that, or
No, I did. I absolutely
that.
did. Yeah, you did, and your breathing changed too. Like you can hear your breathing on it that you wouldn't normally.
Very bizarre. It didn't feel like, it's not like possession or anything like that. It just felt that there was. I don't know. I can't fathom or put logic onto that. Like just something happened there. Like we.
So you're like, there's no question that happened. Like, not that like, I mean, obviously I believe you weren't making it up. But what I mean is that you feel there's something external there. It wasn't just something.
I feel that there was something external, but he was like, I didn't say it during the thing, but I felt that. It's something that I used to give out about Crowley about that, like that book the Book of the Law, isn't it? He challenge, you know, but it's written in his language, you know what I mean? And I felt that when I was answering you, like, it was
your language.
Spud's using Spud's language here. Not Spud's. He's using Spud's language. Something is using Spud's language.
So he's using your grammar and vocabulary. So he's not going to use a word you don't know, or a turn of phrase you don't know. Is that what you mean? Yeah. Yeah. Well, that would make sense, though, then, wouldn't it? Because you would only have the tools that you have the tools of. Like he couldn't express.
I should have asked him. Could he teach me to be fluent in Polish?
Yeah.
That would happen.
Do you know Polish? And he's like, seriously, man, call me here to teach you Polish. There's literally goetic demons that were, who are designed to teach you languages.
I want to stay away from those Goetia, though. They're baddies. I don't like them. I don't know, Tommie. It was just very strange feeling. Like there was when you see images on telly, like, I'm a nerd. I watch fucking documentaries with string theory, but you see these lines of pasta connecting up different.
Oh yeah.
Felt like that. It felt like a new neuron was being opened in the brain. Like that's why it's hard for people to stop smoking who drink, because whenever they have a pint of beer, they associate a cigarette with it,
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like to you need to break that neuron or whatever it's called to stop the smoking. But I felt that by doing this, there was something kind of opened. There's something that was.
So a new neural pathway has been forged. Yeah. That's pretty cool. It was interesting because obviously I couldn't see you or whatever. I was suspecting that it would kind of feel like I wasn't talking to you, but I didn't. Like, I felt I was talking to you and you were kind of relaying the message rather than I was talking to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting though, because it was like, what he said was kind of very kind of standard channeling new age stuff though, like it's like, oh, just love each other, man, come on, Jesus.
Yeah, but like when I
because I was expecting like, no, what you need to do is you need to do your circle, have a triangle, just gives actual just love each other, man. We know that, Aion, for God's sake.
I know. Well, I suppose obviously we do know it, but we don't do it,
But it's also probably not having specific questions, being that I like the idea was not to have specific questions, to just kind of see where it went. But if we do it again, I would have an agenda, an actual reason, which is, you're kind of told that though, that, don't call up something, just to see if you can, which is, I suppose, kind of what we did there. So we probably, so he's very gracious to.
You did have specific questions. I asked them about the conjunction.
Yeah. But I suppose you're kind of in a weird situation when you're doing a public ritual like this, in that you can't. I can't really go, well, I have this thing going on that I really could do with your advice. So I'm just going to tell everyone, about these these insane dreams or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like we will. We should do it more in private.
Yeah. We should definitely do more of them. At one point I felt myself shaking and stuff. Like it was very.
Oh, the hug! I want to know about the hug as I open another can. The cosmic hug that you got. Was that?
Yeah, because all he said was that. All I heard, I don't know how to explain it. Like you said, is there anything you want to tell Spud? And Spud's going to be okay. Like, what does that mean? Like
Spud was going, I didn't know I wasn't. Was there a chance I wasn't going to be okay?
So, and then just, maybe I just need hugs more, Well,
I mean, I suppose after the year, like the whole, lack of physical kind of interaction with people might have a bigger toll on you than you could know.
Yeah.
Possibly.
What was yours again? A flower. I saw a tulip. I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I said flower. Open up.
Well, I mean, obviously, like the big thing is the unfolding, because that's the enlightenment is unfolding, and it's just it's a process now, because that's what I got from it. But that could mean me not looking just to see, more looking to confirm. So you just have to go with it. The flower, it was a tulip that was in some way opening up. So rather than trying to interpret it, I should just acknowledge it and go no further than that.
Maybe more will come from it as you reflect on it.
But I did think immediately of the idea from the 40 Servants, which is that kind of cosmic.
Of course, yeah, of course, yeah. God, I didn't put that together at all.
Yeah. Well, why would you? Like these are more embedded in my brain than your brain.
Yeah. No, I think it's kind of who was I reading? Some Stoicism thing, and we were saying that one of the. We have this idea that we learn from experience, but he was saying, no, actually we don't learn from experience. We learn from reflecting on experience. So maybe when I sit down and have a good think about this, not that I'll come back and say, oh, I forgot to say something, because you just described everything that happened, but maybe I'll be able to decipher more kind of meaning from it or something like that,
The other thing we probably should have done more is distinguish or delineate Tempeh and Aion. While I was doing it, I was going, oh, hold on. This is probably not the best approach, in that we should have more defined it, because it's like kind of going, say you were invoking Christ, or you invoking baby Jesus, or you invoking Christ the Redeemer, or but I mean, it's a very different thing, so. And being that if, because he spoke as Aion as being outside of time, so that he like if you call on him as someone who's not bound to time in the same way, and then you're going, what's the story with the conjunctions and what's going to happen, next? He's going like, well, I don't see time. So what are you asking me?
Yeah, this is what he said from your perspective, wasn't it? Or from their perspective, something like that. He said, I don't remember now. Yeah, so.
My face is all I've just said my face is completely flushed. That's mad, because it's not that warm in here. It's 19 degrees. Awesome. I'm going through the change of life. So, what do you want to do? Something more? What are you thinking? Or
are we on?
Well, about
an hour and 10 minutes. No, should we
there was a bit of a waffle before, so we're about an hour. No, I didn't mean from a time point of view. I meant more from a headspace point of view. Do you want to waffle for a bit and then try something else, or do you want to jump in? Or
I mean, you can tell me. Well, I don't know. Maybe you should tell me now. I really don't know much about the Aethers, and I have avoided them because for some reason.
Yeah, that's a good thing. and that you should, anyone who is going to do them, the recommendation is don't read anything about them. In the sense of like don't jump in not knowing exactly what you're doing, but don't read other people's interpretations of each of them. Because, wouldn't it be much better if you scribed the 30th Aethyr and then read, Duncan Barford's account of it and it was exactly the same. But if you read it and then had exactly the same experience, you would go, well, I only had that because I read Crowley's or whoever it is. It's a Nokian magic. It's kind of most people who I pay attention to kind of tell you to avoid Enochian magic in the general thing. Even John Dee didn't do it in the way that it's presented. He made the tables and he made the thing, but he never did it in the way that, say, the Golden Dawn did it, as far as my knowledge of the subject, which isn't great. Says, but he.
Jesus, here I just realised the lights both went. Your light went out. When did your light go out? My light went out at the end.
When I asked, have you something to tell me? My fire went out. The gas fire.
That was strange. Yeah, mine went at the end. It was gone. I opened my eyes. It was gone. It was there and then it was gone. That's fucking weird. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
just still piecing it together. Like.
Yeah.
See, I don't really know much about these lads at all. And
so essentially, there's 30 of them. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's say 30 degrees, or it's more refined as you go along. So you start in number 30, which is what we're going to do, which is text. And so that is, a place that you go to that is, a higher, you could say astral. It's not astral though, but, it's a plane of existence or a place. And you go, 29, 28, 27, 26, the whole way down to number 1, which is where you meet God. So it's kind of as if you have to, in a sense, travel, go through the thing, do the thing. And most people don't get to number 1 because you can only go so far as you can, go given your.
But what happens? Like, do the meditations, do the visions just dry up one day?
Yeah, you just nothing happens. So you get to 16 and then, nope. It just doesn't happen.
But is it not like, because like the Tree of Life stuff then is that like, well, you're stuck on that one and you just persevere until something happens?
No, because, well, you could, of course, but it's not it's not the same type of thing in that it's like, again, this is my understanding, other opinions are available, but that it's not a challenge to them, it's not a blockage, it's just going, no, that's as far as, it's like, say you're in a company, right, and you have a job and you have a certain qualification, and then there's a job comes up and and you're not qualified for it.
Yeah.
You're just not getting the job. You can go away, do the life thing, do the meditation, becoming a bit more awakened, and come back, and you're qualified. But you can only get to the place where you're qualified. Whereas the Kabbalah thing is just more, to me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's more of a shadow thing, that it's an obstacle to kind of bowl through, that kind of thing. But it depends on your approach to the Kabbalah.
That's my understanding of it as well. Like, well, I wouldn't call it a shadow, but it's that, right, yeah, this is where you are, and to get to the next stage you need to there's a blockage there, you need to find what the blockage is, work on it, and then you'll be able to go ahead. But like also with the Tree of Life thing, like, you're not really supposed to be able to get to the top, because that's the Godhead.
Well, but isn't that the Magic Tempe?
Some people say
it depends on whose roadmap you're using.
Yeah, it depends on what you're reading, but I think the one that I've kind of stuck with is that, like, it's the Jewish idea of the, all of the Sephiriot are one aspect of God kind of thing, but the top one, or the top even 3, some of them have, it's so profound and so just mental. It's just it's beyond our scope as kind of humans to truly get what it is, But I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know. But like, I'm supposed to be like, the meditations that I've got as far as I've been to. Oh Jesus, I'm blanking on the names now. The first one to the left, not the top one. Not God. Not Aethyr. Bina. Yeah. So Bina's where you go as you're crossing the abyss, or supposed to cross the abyss.
Through that's
yeah. That is this
The invisible one. The invisible one. You don't
getting
see it.
spiritual knowledge, isn't that it?
Well, it's Kronzon and it's crossing the abyss and all that. Depending again on whose roadmap you're using.
Yeah, but the Kronzon thing is interesting because you've asked me about that a couple of times and some other people have as well. But the Kronzon thing is kind of like it's kind of a not a cheat, but it's kind of a but my understanding was that if you want to speed things up a bit, you can say, right here, you. Let's have a chat.
Yeah.
So you ask him down for a chat and then you fucking ignore him.
Silence. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't
remain
talk
in silence. Yeah.
And then that's supposed to help you across it, you know. But I don't know. I mean, the last time I did it, I got like the pillars and the man was. I told you about it on a previous podcast, and it was intense, like, but it was nice. You know, it was good. Yeah. So obviously, I should come back to it, but you know. 2 kids, 3 jobs.
Podcast.
Yeah. Podcast. Yeah. Don't. I should meditate a lot more, like, you know, because it's fucking enjoyable, like, when you. Yeah.
You should do the John Pravecki stuff. I've been doing that. I'm on day 4 of his because it's really good. He sits 5-6 times a week, and 2 of them are lessons. So you know, you sit every day for 15 minutes, but on 2 of them he teaches you something. And then there's a Q&A in at the end of it.
Okay.
And it's fine. It's literally him in the sitting room with his son filming him on a phone or something. But it's like, so it's not, you know, you're not getting into heavy production or anything like that. But it's good. I'm enjoying it. And again, he has that kind of lovely thing of that he explains something that you know, and then you get it. You know, you go, oh, right, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Rather than it being a concept, I go, all right, I know what that is.
Isn't it funny how a smart person can do that? You know, like funny, you know something, and then you know something, and you don't really know it, and then it's explained to you, and you're like, yeah, duh. Obviously.
And it seems self-evident when it's explained properly to you. You go, we're right. Didn't I know that? That seems like I should have known that. That kind of thing.
Mad, isn't it? Like maybe it's from just kind of self-learning and stuff like that. Like you're not.
Well, he says he gives out a bit of autodidacts, which are the people who self-learn in the sense of that. Yeah, it's a bit egotistical because you only learn. You're never challenged to learn stuff that you wouldn't.
Yeah. He says that even there's one I listened to today. He was talking about. He says that psycho drugs like mushrooms and LSD. He says he agrees that they should be used, but only in a community setting. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see that, yeah. Oh, I understand that. Like the whole ayahuasca, like the ayahuasca documentary that I watched was totally eye-opening because everyone wants to do it, but then you're like, you hear this thing that no, it's just a shaman takes it. You're not supposed to take it. Yeah. You know, so I still would though.
Right this minute, I would quicker let the shaman take it, please. Thanks very much. Yeah, tell me. Well, here's my list of questions.
Well, it's a different thing because it's like if you're from the tribe and you have some emotional problem, go to the shaman and they'll be able to help you sort it out. But like, you know, if you're like a fucking cultural Marxist leftist, you know, and you just want to get off your head for like a couple hours, then whatever, you know.
Right, shall we do this then?
Yeah, okay, let's give it a try.
Right, so what's going to happen is I am going to read out words that don't make any sense. Spud is going to try not to laugh because he finds this thing very impossible to not laugh at. I'm definitely going to mispronounce this because it's impossible not to. I possibly will laugh myself because it's very magic-y, and I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going with the... So... It's the 19th call, which is the thing that you call, it's what you use for all the Aethers, other than you change the word in the first sentence to the Aethyr. There's such an Irish way of, there's no way I can pronounce H's. Did
you Aethyr out? Aethyr out, did you? I Aethyr out.
It's the Aethyr. So we're going for text, which is the first one. So I'm just going to do it rather than just thing. So let me get into state here. Madri iax dispraf tex chis miska alt sa a near ka o zogo ol fisisi balzi zras I aida nanka go honlim mikma a do I a mad I a od bliob sa ba o a e o na chis lu chif ti an pi rip sol tis abra sa non chef ti ta a bi ka so ig od tilb adfant tam plos tuan anof chi jim calzo ma al raz toglo marb yar re id o go od tor zup I o da go hol ka o ga taba ord sa a near o chis ti o as year por il ti o bel bustir tilb no al pa id or spa od tod rem ni zil na el zap tilb palm g p ripsack o tad quirls poas apis li nip p o you cho simp od Chris T O S ag tol torn merc Q T ob eli ton pad ob till zom as p an od Chris T O ag tol torn pa rak a sim cord z dod pal od viv fals la mad od fog t bams o ma o as ko nis bra od a u vox tu nog ors cat bal tu as me tab gel levit mong on chi tilb ors bagel mo o a or o cord z le capi mo x o maxip od ka o casp go sa a bagland p e t an a ta a ba blond o fa or t lo va o im madrix eax tuzu o edriax o ro cha a bo a pri taba o ri Prias ad tarbas ad dear pan cor tat dobix. Y'all cam prias ad z a cor azir o cabs q ting re pier pa a ox sa ga cor ond o port zag ka korg a o via crumpt. Torzu zaka o zamran abzi z pomona tazor zastia maltan odo circle qua od ozama palapi iad nama. Tagola Gremnium Advort Dunzenial.
You know, at the start of those awful Marvel films, you get the flicky page thing of like a montage.
Oh yeah.
So they got the first thing. It was a blue and this is heads down. Like a blue and yellow flag. You know, the left side was blue, the right side was yellow, and then these kind of ancient Eastern cities. A bomb, like a nuclear style bomb, went off. Then there was men fighting with those big ass fucking sabers, the curved ones, yeah?
Yeah.
And then nothing, just desert. And I had a name, Aethyr. And while you were saying the words, I asked Aethyr if it was okay to talk to her. And I said, I told her, I'm here with you. And she said, yeah, she's happy to guide us. So if you have some questions, Tommie.
What is it we need to know most right at this moment?
You're both in a good place and you're protected. No harm will come.
How's the new year looking? What's next year going to bring us? Globally.
I'm not here to tell your future.
What can you tell me about the past year that I haven't realized?
She has an answer, but I don't know if I'm gonna tell you.
No, well,
she
tell me.
says, you know what's important and focus on them. Stop wasting your time. That's it.
Okay. Have you any words of advice for Spud?
You know what you want to do. You'll be able to do it. It won't happen. It won't happen quickly, but it will. And become a part of your community. And so I'm asking, like, does she mean here where I live, or like online community? So she means here where I live.
All right. Just ask her, is there any wisdom that she can share with us, being that I'm not really sure what question is the right way to ask the question. What is the question that I need to ask, or that we need to ask, rather than like not individually as me, but as a society, or as a community, or as a culture.
Your idea of political thinking has ground down your ability for greatness. Everything is politicized. It might be your downfall. That's one way it can go.
Can you ask her to explain the visions you've seen from the text Aethyr, the explosion and the swords? Is it actual or is it symbolic? And if it is symbolic, what does it mean?
She says it's prehistory.
Okay.
Before records, before writing. So I'm asking her who did it, and she says, they weren't from where you're from, but it led to wars between people from where you're from. That ain't good. Can it happen again? I'm asking her. Everything is possible, but hopefully it won't.
The only kind of questions that are coming to me now are kind of questions that would be to test the reality of it, or to to kind of test to see if it's true. And I kind of feel that's a bit disrespectful, so I don't want to do that. So, have you any more questions, Spud, you would like to ask, or?
Well, it's because I don't really understand the Aethers, and is this a bit like Malkuth on the Tree of Life? She says it's akin to it, yes. Tommie, maybe I should ask her. Are you tested before you can move to the next stage? Will something happen in our lives that will say we can go to the next one? Or yes, she says yes. I'm fucking shaking her again now. It's weird. I feel like she's losing patience with us, man. Ask her something nice. Ask her something nice.
I don't know. Like maybe. Well, if she's losing patience, then we'll just, I suppose, thank her and appreciate your company and coming to talk.
No, she doesn't want to go though. She doesn't want to go. But we're asking the wrong things.
I don't know what. Sorry, I don't know what to ask. What? Give me some hint to what I should be asking. What?
What do you want to know, Tommie?
Is it possible to have undeniable proof that all of this spiritual magic stuff is real, or is it always fate-based?
Not on your plane.
Well, that's unfortunate.
But you were given many hints all the time. You just don't see them. And it's not just you, Tommie. Everybody. People don't appreciate what they have.
Do you know what the name? Ask her. Does she know what the name of my holy guardian angel is?
She says she doesn't want to tell Spud. She doesn't want to tell me.
That was one of the questions that I was just didn't know whether it's because it's like the testing question.
She said she did. That's for you to tell Spud, not for me.
Ask her, is it disrespectful to ask her questions that are to test whether we're talking to...
Not really.
Okay, so can I ask a question then about something Spud wouldn't know, that wouldn't make an odds whether, like say if I
what would it prove?
Well, it would prove that you know something Spud doesn't.
I know many things Spud doesn't.
Say that again, I didn't hear that.
I know many things Spud doesn't.
Sure, yeah, but that I would also know. So like it's something like along the lines of, what is the book I'm holding in my hand?
I have no idea, I can't read that. Do you think I'm spying on you, Tommie?
No, not at all.
Do you want me to spy on you, Tommie?
No, it's not that. I want the object of that question was to see if you could know something that Spud doesn't, and then that would reveal that you are something other than a form of Spud's consciousness. That it's in some way to prove or to test the veracity of your claims to be something other than Spud.
I understand your question. And If I was you, I'd probably want some kind of proof as well.
Can you supply any proof?
No. I don't need to.
No, I'm sure you don't. No good to me, though.
We don't do this to be the toys of people who just want to talk. We're here to help people move up the ladder to become what they, to learn more about what they can become.
So what do I need to understand or to appreciate or
You are all gods. You are all gods. Every one of you are gods. And the one above, he is in all of you, and you're in him. Oh, it's weird. Fucking hell, man. It's like something standing on my shoulders here. Oh, she's fucking not happy.
Why is she unhappy?
Because you don't realize what yous are.
But sure, isn't that the game? Isn't that the point?
You should learn. You can learn.
How?
By learning about yourself more. Learning about yourselves.
And how do we do that?
You all have a soul, and you're all connected to one another. You can feel exactly what any other human around your world right now is feeling. All you have to do is open your mind to it. You close yourselves off, live in block houses, build fences to separate each other. Stopped living in small communities. You don't care about each other anymore. It would all be very different if you did.
But that's not going to happen. So there's not much.
No.
There's no point in a sense, chastising us for something that can't happen.
It can happen. Of course it can happen.
I've no control over that.
The one is part of the many. All it takes is a snowflake to start an avalanche.
You have to appreciate that from our point of view, that just sounds like trite new age nonsense, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
But there's a grain of truth in everything. I think we'll let her go, Tommie.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming and talk to us. As slightly exasperated as I became, I do appreciate it, and I know the fault isn't mine in not having prepared enough for this, and that just kind of turning up on spec and kind of going, well, you prove yourself, and I appreciate the politeness of you not asking me to prove myself or my kind of position to who am I to ask these questions. So I do appreciate it, and I hope that you understand that my questions come from a place of wanting to improve rather than wanting to destroy. So, but I do appreciate you coming and talk to us, as I assume Spud does. So you have the license to depart, and with gratitude and loving energy, loving kindness.
Yeah,
stuff.
it wasn't as much fun. Yeah, that it felt like yeah.
I just start getting really annoyed really quickly, and like
Yeah,
why
you got annoyed,
why
yeah.
would I like why
Why
would
were
I do
you
that?
getting annoyed with some weird spirit or something? I was like, Tommie, shut up.
Go with it, man. Enjoy it, man.
No, I felt, yeah, no, but I said it. I felt like it was like something was kind of pushing down on my shoulders there.
Were you ever?
Was that asking the wrong questions? We weren't.
Yeah, but it was not that, like, the way it was kind of like, I did ask what's the question to ask, and there was no answer to that too. Like, so it's like, it is a thing I've seen everyone, there's a lack of preparation, but you also, like, I don't know.
Maybe these things know we're coming anyway, you know, if they don't live in time, if they...
I do think there's a lot to be said about testing the spirit you talk to. Like, you know, in the sense of, like, if you only know already what I already know, what use are you to me? And if you're no use to me, that, you know, why I don't want to be bothering you, you know, in a respectful kind of sense.
Yeah. But then we'd all just be asking for next week's lottery numbers.
I was so tempted. Whoever was going to, I've really disrespectful questions that I could ask you, but it's just that book thing is a thing I've used a number of times where there's people telling me that they're, you know, there was particularly one person who said they were in communication with Lilith, and anyone who ever talks to me is saying that they're in communication with Lilith or working with Lilith. It never ends well for them, ever, that in my experience. Not to say that anyone who's ever worked with Lilith doesn't end up in a good place, but anyone who's talked to me about it hasn't. And it's always like, oh, well, what book is, you know, what have I in my hand? Because it's that thing of what is something that I know that the person I'm talking to can't know, but that if you have a bigger perspective, should know.
Yeah, of course.
And they never know.
Yeah.
So, which could be just that it's a stupid test. But from my perspective, it's a good test because, say you had have said the name of my HGA, I mean, that changes everything, you know, because you don't know what it is. Well, you know what I mean? Like, or if you had you know, and the book, by the way, was Aion by Carl Jung. So, you know, that would, like, I mean, that's a whole different experience. But I know from, say, if you've taken it on, you know, face value or whatever, that if someone came to, you know, rang you up and goes, what book am I holding? You're going, fuck off, mate. Fuck off. What shit do I give a fuck about? You know what? You know, I don't care what book you're holding. You rang me.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I kind of got.
Someone rings you. Do you exist? Listen, mate. You rang me.
Well, that's kind of the thing I was getting. Like, at first, she was all friendly and happy, kind of like the vision I had is kind of like a pixie, angel, fairy type, you know?
Yeah.
Friendly, happy thing that was like... I felt like I was in the presence of some kind of weird tour guide, you know?
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, well, this is where this happens, and this is where this happens, and this is where this happens, and da-da-da-da. And it didn't turn out that way at all, like.
Yeah, but you see, the problem I suppose I have is that the questions I have are that I want to ask God or Aion or any of these things are the questions I ask, and they're the questions that you get to kind of, oh, you know, you're all...
I know, sure, look, I've gone through the same thing with the HGA, but you always, like, you do a divination with them or something like that, or you try and get a message, and just the message you usually get back is you're on the wrong thing, you're barking up the wrong tree, or you're, you know...
Then who is the person you talk to for those questions? I suppose that was probably one of the goetic guys. So, oh yeah, I have the answers. Yeah, they're in the suitcase over here. Come on, lads. Oh yeah, proof of magic. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, and now I own you. Yeah,
yeah, that's the thing, like, you know? But I suppose, like, all these positive entities, I suppose, like, you know, any book you kind of read on them, it's all fucking peace and love, man, isn't it? You know?
It is, but there's a thing Stuart Wilde always talked about, and I know I bang on about him, but he's good because he was a spiritualist at one point, because he just kind of tried everything. But he got really good into it. It wasn't kind of, he just did it for a laugh a couple of weekends. You know, he really, when he went to the churches and he did all the thing. How are we for time? We good?
No, I'm fine. I'm just seeing how much space is on the thing. That's all. Go ahead.
But he
I'd
was
love
saying like, right, we're fine. I could talk to, your dead husband. But he didn't know anything. He didn't suddenly have any kind of revelation. And he says, they would all talk in this kind of nonsense, equivalent new agey, we're all one of them. That thing, like the one of the many and all. And it's like, but it doesn't mean anything. And it's like, the same like we were talking about Pajot. I'm just going, he looks into so much. And you go, well, from my perspective, it looks like you're just over-analysing things. But maybe I have the wrong perspective. And so maybe all of those kind of, as I say, trite new age things might be all true, but they're not helpful right now in the situation where I'm at, because they just sound like something that you would say if you didn't know what to say. Or didn't have actual, insight or whatever. Like that's just so I know, just to be very clear, I'm not saying I'm saying the person you were talking to. I'm not saying you're
No.
Yeah. And if you don't know more than me, what it's like you don't want to be, that thing we've talked about before. You don't want to be the most intelligent person in the room, because that's dumb. Right? It's a dumb thing to be.
Yeah.
And if you're talking to someone who's, if you're, it's like when you read the Old Testament, you go, Jesus, I'm a much better person than God is. And you go, well, I'm definitely not joining this religion. Or, you're talking to a spirit who, and you go, well, I've read more New Age books than you have. So.
Yeah. No, it's the thing of like you going into a fucking, going into a guitar shop and talking to the guy who works there and getting advice off him because he knows his shit. Rather than just asking your mate who bought his fucking second-hand bass guitar the same day you bought your second-hand guitar,
Yeah, but if you went into
the
guitar shop and said to your man, how do you pick faster? How do you do your pedals? And he goes, oh, I don't know, and you go, well, what use it? I already don't know.
Yeah, exactly. No, I understand you. No, I know why you were being aggressive. Like I get that. I totally get that.
But it was interesting that I got very quick to it, because I wasn't that kind of just. Not, what? I'm not saying I was possessed.
What was supposed to happen? Like I don't know.
Well, that's the other thing. It was kind of going like, right, here we are again, and I don't really, the questions I want to ask, that the question is, well, can we approve this? Can we thing? And it's like, no. I think, well, right, bye. That's good. So right, and then you said, well, she doesn't want to leave. I go, right. Well, let's have you then, But I don't know. It's probably disrespectful. She'll not come back. she might come back to you. She seemed to like you a bit better than she liked me. Although she seemed to like me fine. It was me. So to recap. So when I was reading out the Enochian in my perfect Enochian dialect, I'll have you know. What was going on? What was? Because I know you went.
So the first thing, like fairly quickly, I saw a flag billowing. It was blue on the left and white. Blue on the left and yellow on the right.
Is there a flag? Have we a flag? Swedish flag's blue and yellow, is that? No.
Fucking Tipperary. I don't know.
Yeah, a GA flag.
Tipperary was wiped off the fucking planet thanks to a nuclear bomb. Well, I mean, well done.
Yeah. It's interesting that they said it was pre-history, which means that we've had nuclear weapons before, and...
Yeah, but she said it was from someone outside. It wasn't made by the locals, wasn't it?
Oh, right, yeah, because it was getting hard to hear you at one point.
But the locals ended up in a war because of that happening. Yeah, that's what it was. So I don't know, there's probably there are biblical myths and Hindu myths and stuff like that, aren't there? Indian myths about wars and stuff like that.
And there's the nuclear signature in the atmosphere of Mars that, depending on who you ask, may or may not be only exist because of a nuclear explosion.
There's stuff like this, isn't there? Sand that was turned into glass and stuff like that. That's what happens, isn't it? It's been found in a good few places around the world and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. The kind of feeling I got was that, like, you're welcomed into an elevator and this is the first lift and it's going to bring you somewhere else.
Yeah, right.
But I'm not too sure if we passed the test. That's why I asked her if it's
a test.
Yeah, is it a test, and will something happen in our lives, kind of thing, that can say we can move on to the next one? Because she said yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it'll happen, or maybe it won't happen. I don't know. But it's the same thing as like we were talking about earlier. It's like the symbolism is what you kind of put into it, isn't it? So
that's it. Will you do more on your own, do you think, or would you be interested in doing more, or what's your thoughts on it?
No, I kind of like doing it with the two people. No.
Yeah.
I think I'd get a bit freaked out on my own with that one. I could talk to the HGA on my own, no problem. But I don't really know what I'm getting into here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
That's the thing. But especially like if they say like don't read up on it, well then definitely don't want to do it on my own. Because like would say like the Tree of Life stuff, there's loads of books on it, and they say this is the middle pillar thing. This is who you'll meet, or this is who you look for. Make sure you ask their name, and there's a kind of
a roadmap.
What's the word I'm looking for? There's a kind of criteria of things that you should do for it to go well, kind of thing, because it's been around for a good while. Well, then again, this is older though, isn't it? Enochi and Magick.
No. It's not. No, it's fably mythology like it is, but it's 14 whatever is John Dee. So.
Yeah, that's all. Kabbalah was only really invented in 1700s or something properly.
Oh, I was right. Yeah. In France, isn't it as well? That's the
yeah.
So for the final one, because I can feel the drop in the spiritual energy, man. What I think we should do just for the final thing is I because we should probably bother Carl Jung, but is do just a divination. So, but I think you should do it, because the reason why I think you should do it and explain it is because I'm the 47s are a bit too embedded in me as their individual things to enable something else to talk through them. Say, so if you want to pick 3 cards while asking Carl Jung, what is this conjunction about, or what can we learn from it?
Well, the chaste is after making herself known to be there.
Okay.
Chaste, so you need to live a life of spirituality, that would say, wouldn't it?
Yeah, or go on a diet is it's probably another thing. Less indulgences, please. Yeah.
Less indulgences, yeah. That's the one I like about her, is that it's kind of a message to, you're having a bit too much fun, buddy. Chill out and get yourself back on track here. I like doing that. I like doing that with cards, with yours and with the tarot as well. When just opening them and let something kind of fall.
Yeah.
The mother is making eyes at me here as well
not
now.
in the Irish mammy way.
No, nice way. Yeah, she's not judging me, calling me a failure. Thanks, man. My house is bigger than yours, and I have a newer car. Meow.
Yeah, not that material things matter.
Yeah. What do we do here to get his attention, Tommie?
Well, the thing is, I always go with the Grant Morrison thing of you surround yourself with stuff. So I have all my Carl Jung books in front of me.
Well, you know what? I know, speaking of my ma, I know that she has sent me a few Carl Jung books for Christmas. Right. So they're upstairs. But they're in wrapping paper, so I can't open them, obviously. Christmas presents.
Well, I'll do the channeling thing, and I'll send Jung to you. So the question we're asking is what is the conjunction, right? So what do we need to know about this thing? So, Carl, big man, trying to get your attention here. Yeah, I promise that I'll be more polite than I have been. I'll be in better behavior. The good thing is that I know you existed, so I'll not ask you any questions. So the question is, we're going to draw 3 cards. So Spud is going to draw 3 cards from the deck, the 47's deck. And if you could try to, in some way, help us to understand this conjunction, because it is something that you wrote about in your final book. So it's something that was on your mind as you were dying that you needed to talk about. So if you could in some way help to explain it to us, or the significance or the symbology or whatever is the proper question to ask there.
The moon.
The moon, okay. Interesting that it is the light and the darkness, right? Being that's what the conjunction is.
It's very...
the physical thing.
It's very symbolic, isn't it?
Yeah. That also denotes lies, though. So that has to be. And not lies, necessarily, falsehoods.
False dawns, isn't it? Things like that.
Yeah, and hope in a negative sense, too. But that's only taking the very... My cat wants out. Hold on a sec.
Cat's obviously scared of the moon. Cat's scared of the moon? Cats aren't scared of the moon.
No, cat's obviously not a fan of Swiss people, obviously.
Or the moon. I was saying to the listeners, the moon. It's afraid of the moon. Poor rigs. Yeah. The moon, Tommie. I'm not really getting anything from the moon here.
Well, I would take from that the cosmology that there is something about the light and the darkness, the actual, the physical act of the conjunction being that it's going to be, the Star of Bethlehem. It's been described that kind of, a physical cosmological body. That's what I get from that.
So it's something real.
Something actual rather than the kind of metaphorical moon truth.
One
or lack
fell
of
out
truth.
there one jumped out on the ground there, so that's the gatekeeper.
Okay.
So that's always a good one, because it means that there's some change going to happen.
Yeah, or open to something that we weren't able to access before now.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be anything physical or anything like that, but yeah, about an openness to something. Yeah. What was the hand?
Oh, because I'm out of focus on the camera. Always professional.
What would you do then? So the moon and the gatekeeper, how would you mash them together?
Being the question that we asked is that there's a cosmological event that opens access to something new that we haven't previously had access to. So a new... so I mean, if you want to go like the kind of some new energy or something new or some area or something that we previously weren't allowed, not necessarily allowed, but weren't, some new energy it has opened up, given the cosmological thing. So given the question that we asked.
So Carl Jung is saying, it
is something, yeah.
Something's happening. Well, Aion earlier was like, not from where I'm standing, lads.
But but from Aion's point of view, nothing is happening. That's.
You got the booby lady, Carnal.
Right.
Just fucking go for it, man.
I mean, there's many kind of levels you can talk about carnal, but in this, I think it's proper. That seems carnal to me. It seems like. What else could it be? Something sexy. Nice one. We're about to head into some sexy times. Carl Jung saying, Carl Jung, he was no prude by anything.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So the carnal. So we have cosmological event that opens the door to
sex.
Something around beauty. There you go. That's what it is. Something around. Right. So if you want to go back to the Kabbalah thing, isn't beauty one side of the tree, opposite to severity?
Yeah.
Right.
So good times ahead then.
Well, because with the whole kind of thing, there was a lot of balance came up as well. So you kind of. Being that we constantly tried to think that we were in, the Kali Yuga and the end times and all this, that there's the possibility that, as it's been said, that we've been looking at technology, as a, in a kind of wrong way, that there is a positive thing to it, that it's not just, that it's perhaps seen then as that when you go so far with this type of thing, this conjunction or this point of time, like it's hippie Tommie with his hippie hat on, going that, no, Aquarius, Aquarius. It's all 1970s sci-fi, Logan's Run type free love. Well, didn't work out well for Logan's Run, to be fair. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. So, cosmic event that opens the key to something, a better understanding, possibly, of beauty, sex, and physical nature. What's your read on it? What would you see in it?
Yeah, I'll go with you for the first two. I'm not quite sure about the carnal. I think with the carnal, I'd be like, a cosmic event, something new. I think it'd be more like, knowing, getting to know or knowing ourselves a bit better on the inside, not just sexually, but
Yeah. Well, of course, the carnal, it has that quality of feeling good about yourself physically.
Yeah. So, but I don't necessarily have to go with physical, though. I'd say it's more kind of, well, that as well, but...
Is there a transhuman element that we could be looking at here?
No. There's only one gender.
No, transhuman, not transgender.
No, I mean, look, then she pops up. Look. It's funny the way they jump out, isn't it?
The balancer, yeah.
Balancer. I think to know ourselves better and to enjoy learning to know ourselves better. That's the way I'd read it.
Well, I suppose one thing that just popped into mind is that the previous...
Because the thing is, the thing is that we kind of deny ourselves who we are over our Catholic upbringings and all.
But this is exactly what jumped into my head, is the whole thing of original sin, and that sex was, and nudity and physicality was disgusting, and that we had to cover ourselves and all this. So that if there is a new thing opened at it, it would be the opposite of that. Not that
because I would never see her as a nihilistic kind of love and just fucking sex and orgies and all that kind of stuff. It's just that sharing your body with who you love the most, which should probably be yourself, really.
Yeah.
And others then after that, I like cheating as well. I like pulling out an extra card every now and again. Just to fucking put a cherry on top, and then
well, isn't it interesting? Hold on. Isn't it interesting that the card that popped out at the beginning was the chaste, and then we go cosmological event, new opening, the carnal. Previous was the chaste, which is in some ways the opposite of the carnal.
Yeah.
And then we have a new thing that brings out, if we wanted to look at it from the kind of the Christian Aion, which, Carl Jung does talk about in Aion, which is the two, it starts off the Christian thing, then the Antichrist, and this is the new Aion, then we would be...
That's mad, huh?
That's mad. Let's go full Jonathan Pajot on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So she's here in front of me. She was the first one. That's the old age, and we have the cosmological event thing, and this will bring balance.
And you did bring in the mother as well, which would be the opposite of the kind of, as we have seen, the patriarchal religion that we've had for the last 2,000 years.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we're going to bring balance to the world, Tommie. We have heralded in the new Aion.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.